Welcome to the Redvee TV show, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season, year, whatever you want to call it. Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening, David.
We've been waiting for squad numbers and we finally know why. Because we've got a new number three, Kevin.
We have three is the magic number.
It's been worth the wait to find out that our new number three is indeed our former number 23.
Yes, going away from that magic number that Lachlan Coote and Benny Barber wore before him into a proper centres number.
Connie has signed a 1 year extension. Now, I think I know what you're going to say here, Kev. Are you happy with this?
I think once you start making signings to alleviate the lack of pace in the back line, to then not do the same in the centres leaves me underwhelmed. I love Connie. I think Connie has, especially from when he first signed, changed my opinion of him, and he's done great for us. And I genuinely hope that next season he has an absolute storming year. But I can't help but be underwhelmed with this. I think if he was, if he wasn't a quarter player, I probably wouldn't have as much disappointment. I'm going to keep saying disappointment with it. But when you're using your quarter players, they need to be some of your strongest players who are available more often than not. And to be fair, over the past 2 years, he's played over 50% of the games, so he's available more often than not. But I don't see it as a step forward with him. I think if he'd have been if the rule had been in place that he's coming in next year for 2026, where he wouldn't have counted as quarter, I'd have said it's a shrewd move keeping him around the club, because you can see the reasons why we keep him.
Yeah, cult hero on the terraces. So there will be a large element of that fan base who are happy with Connie staying for another
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
My issue with it is if he'd have been announced and he got a 1 year extension and he was keeping the 23 jersey, and you'd think, yeah, do you know what? We're taking a bit of a flyer. He made 21 appearances in 2023. He made 15 appearances last season before suffering that serious neck injury. And you think, do you know what? We'll give him another year, and you hope he can get back to the player he was. But the fact that we've been crying out for pace in the back line, we've had the number three jersey empty, and we've promoted him into that, it leaves me underwhelmed. And you think, is that the ambition? I know, and it negates some of the ambition we've shown with the signings of Kyle Felt, Tristan Saylor, Lewis Murphy. And it's all right. I've watched the interview on Saints TV that Connie's done, and he's been asked about getting the number three jersey, and Paul Whelan's saying just because you're the number three doesn't automatically mean that you'll be first choice. But historically, pretty much squad number has dictated who your 17 are. Why on earth would you move like your squad players from like number 30 up to number 20 or 18 as they develop? As players move into that top 25, they generally move up the ranking. And we've always used it as a club to basically as a bit of a barometer about where a player is in the standings. So it'd be interesting to see, for example, if John Bennison keeps the number five jersey this season, or he gets demoted back down the rankings again. I'm sure we're going to find out imminently, according to the Saints TV. Would I be given a player who's had a 1 year extension and coming back from a long-term injury the number three jersey? No.
What would you do then? Leave it free?
Yeah. If and for me that would show the ambition of the club. We haven't got someone who's good enough to wear the number three jersey. Mind you, we didn't have somebody who was good enough to wear the number three jersey last season. Look what happened there. Um, I'd have left it empty on the basis of, do you know what? When we've got someone good enough to fill it, we'll fill it. Don't feel under pressure just to fill it in because you've got
Yeah.
to use the
I
numbers.
think it's a good, yeah, it's a good point when you say like he played 21 games and then 15, 21 in 2023, 15 in 2024. I actually had a look at the other options at centre and how many games they played in each season. So Percy's obviously your other side. Played 22 at centre, one at second row in 2023, and 21 games in 2024. Then you look down what I've done as the kind of the what I'm going to call backups. So Ben Davies, and these are all starts at centre. So not coming on and filling in there or anything like that. Starts, you've been picked as the first choice at centre that day. Um, Ben Davies, 10 in 2023, 4 in 2024. Johnny Vaughan, Matt Whitley, Joe Batchelor, Harry Robertson, Deon Sambu, Owen Dagnall, obviously no appearances in 2023 at centre. Johnny Vaughan, Matt Whitley, Joe Batchelor, all one start at centre in 2024. Harry Robertson, I've seen people on the forums and on social media saying give him the centre jersey. No appearances at centre for the first team. Same with Deon, who was injured last year. Same with Owen Dagnall, who's only just coming through. I just feel like we're very, very light still in the centres, and we still need something there. And I get the positives of keeping Connie as well. I do get the positives of keeping him.
Yeah, I just don't. Not in the position. I'd left the jersey empty and said to Connie and the young lads competing for it, do you know what? We haven't got a defined number three this year. It's your job to go out there each week and in training and impress enough to be in that centre spot on a match day. But it almost feels like now
Yeah,
it is Connie's shirt to actually lose. And you know what? I think Connie's spoken
yeah,
in an interview about he needs to get himself fit. I think he's realised that for Connie to be at his best, he has to be full. He has to be fully fit. He has to be a lot sharper than he is. And you know what? Hopefully, this season with the players around him and the pace we've got around him, he'll need to get up to that level. Um, I'm seeing the live reaction coming in. I was smiling as
is that what you're laughing
yeah,
at?
it came up when we mentioned Phil Jones. I, I don't know what the question was, but the answer was an effing traffic cone could replace Blake. He was useless.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I- Listen, a fully fit Connie 2 years ago, I thought was tremendous for us. It's just coming back from those injuries that worry me. But do you know what, Kev? I remember when we signed him, you weren't overly impressed with the signing of him, and he proved you wrong. And I think it's Connie's
Yeah,
job to go out there and do that again, isn't it?
it certainly is. That's it. Yeah, as I say, you can see the positives of keeping him. They're not necessarily reasons why you should have someone taking up salary cap space and a quarter space, but he looks like he's great around the squad.
Yeah.
Changes so much of the back line in one goal might be too big of an ask. You know what you're getting out of him as well. You know what you can expect from Connie. You know that he's going to take you forward. You know that his defensive capabilities are probably shy of what your ideal is. Um, and giving him the number three probably, well, it doesn't because I've still seen him takes away the people saying he should be in the second row. These people are also saying he should be moved into the second row because he's not fit enough and not defensively good enough to be a centre. He does more work in the second row. There's no way Connie's a second row. He's a centre, out and out centre. But because he's been given the number three shirt, you'd imagine, as you said earlier, it's a barometer of where our squad is that he is going to be your starter. And as one of your quarter players, he needs to be a starter, or at least in the 17. And you're not going to find room for
Uh,
Connie on the bench to come. You're right about his fitness. Last year he played in the Swinton game, didn't he? Alongside a lot of the young kids to get him up to speed. I can imagine him trying to do something similar this year. I wish nothing but the best for Connie. I think he has been a good signing for us. I think you're right when you say he's probably a cult hero that we've not properly had in some time. Like a proper cult hero. You've got heroes, but a proper like left field, he's come from somewhere. Like Freddie Tuilangi coming in from Halifax, and
Yeah.
you're like, he gets the crowd going. But
And
still, I
do you know
still
what?
think he's shy in the centres.
And all the fans had the Freddie wigs. I think
Yeah,
you'd probably, I think in this day and age, you'd get done for cultural appropriation.
you probably would do. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
you probably would.
but it does explain why we've not been able to see pictures of pre-season because Connie's obviously talked about being at pre-season training. I seen somebody write on the forums that the reason we can't have pre-season photos is because the players all have the numbers on, as Connie does in the video. And you think, have we really held back the squad numbers waiting for Connie's being asked? Would that have stopped us showing Jack Wells being the number one shirt?
Morgan Knowles in the 13, Alex
What?
Walmsley in the 8. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to shock you now, Kev. Guess what? We've got a nine,
Oh, have we? What's his name?
Darryl Clark.
It's just, yeah, it beggars
It's
belief, doesn't it?
baffling. It's baffling.
Yeah, it is
Um,
baffling.
but there we go. Right, we'll move on, Kevin.
Yep.
As exclusively launched on the Redvee Twitter, Saints Core Training Range.
Yeah. Well done for going down to the shop.
I can't believe that it had been in the shop all day and nobody had actually took pictures of it until I actually seen it. What do you make of it?
um, I don't mind it. I don't mind. Well, I don't mind that we've done something different. I really don't. I think after last year when we had a shop that resembled the background of a Scooby Doo cartoon, where you just had the red, white, black, grey, red, white, black, grey, and it was all the same, apart from the captain's range run, which the issues of having just the lilac stuff in women's sizes we won't even start to get into. I don't mind them trying something different. I know that it's so well. Some people like it, some people don't. Nature the beast. But the fact that we've just done something slightly different, yeah, I'm fine with it. It's what I keep banging on about. You've got to try and do something different with it.
Yeah. My issue is this probably should have been 12 months ago as well.
Yeah,
The trend last year across all football clubs and things was for patterned, mad patterned like training jerseys. We're a little late to the party.
yeah,
I'll be honest, I do actually like that blue stuff.
yeah. You've seen it, haven't you? You've been down to the club shop and
The
seen it.
red
I've
stuff
not yet.
reminded me a little bit of Catalan. I'm not entirely sure on the red stuff, but do you know what? Again, something for everyone. I'd wear the blue stuff. The only issue I've got with it is it's O'Neill's and the quality of it.
Yeah, it's an O'Neill's problem that rather than a
Yeah,
Saint problem,
the,
isn't
the
it? I
pattern
think
the pattern's fine. The fit and the quality of the garments, I think leave a lot to be desired at times, and that is what would stop me spending £35 on a t-shirt.
yeah, I think that's a big issue. When the quality isn't good enough, you wonder how much that kind of shoots Saints in the foot. But yeah, it, I don't, as I say, I have no issue with it. I have no issue with us having red and gold. I always say this, so I'm not having a go at you. I always think it's lazy when people see a color combination and go, "Oh, it's like Catalan. Oh, it's like the. Oh, it's like." If we had red and black, it'd be like, "Oh, it's like Salford's."
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Although
it?
I think if it was
You
Catalan,
know,
it'd look
black
very
and white.
nice for them.
Oh,
Um, I'm glad to
yeah,
see it's available online and in store as well. Unlike the reduced stuff that gets taken off the shelves when you actually want to buy it at the price you think it's worth, and you see it online. You've got every size available. You go in the shop and you're told you can't have it. Brilliant.
personal experience there is that.
Hmm. So I've spent my money elsewhere instead, and that's. Do
Fair enough.
you know what? We've had to wait to film because if I'd have filmed this on Friday, I'd have blew me top. We did.
the, the great.
We did actually plan to film, didn't we, on Friday? And I had to phone in the
I
end and
was
go,
yeah, I was sat here in my bunker, ready to film, and you rang me up and said I can't do it because it's just going to be one of our angry man shouting at a cloud episodes.
I have calmed down somewhat, but it just makes me laugh. We've took it off the shelves. It's online only. It's in the room behind the desk. Please just go and get it out, get it out and sell me. No, you've got to order it online, but you can collect it in store when we give you an email that you. So right, it's okay. I'll go home. I'll order it online. I'll wait 3 days and I'll walk back. I'll come back to the shop. Nah, you're all right. I'll just pass. Shouldn't be that hard to spend your money, should it?
No.
Anyway, right. Magic weekend. Saints have got to buy.
Oh, you're back! You're
I'm back.
back!
Uh, Saturday, May the 3rd. At St James Park, Newcastle. I will not be there most likely because Everton are playing Ipswich in the second to last ever game at Goodison Park. Unless we're both struggling in a relegation fight and it might get moved to the Sunday. That's the only hope.
It won't. It'll get moved to 12 o'clock on the Saturday.
Oh, never mind. Right, Kev, how are we getting to Newcastle? How are those?
Howard Tours probably, yeah. Might have to go and lord it up there. Yeah. Thing is, if I do, at least I could get on the beers on the way back, can't I? So that's not
Hold on a
too
minute.
bad.
Like me driving ever stops you getting on the beers on the way back.
Yeah, I mean, just mean from Magic Weekend this time, I didn't. When we came back from Leeds, I was stone cold sober, surrounded by people who'd had enough booze to try and block out that performance. So at
Yes.
least I've
On
got
the
the
on the
chance to
plus
do
side, at least we're going to win this one. You can
well,
clip that.
oh, clip that. I was surprised this is the first time that we've played Leeds at Magic Weekend, and I thought that had been a game that would have been put in the past as a big game.
Yeah.
Just when you start struggling for them, and I know some people say get the old derbies back in, but you don't want to cheapen a derby for me. I'm quite happy with having your derbies home and away, especially for us. The only one that matters. Go over to the DW or Brick Community, sorry, have them back at our place. Have a curry, have a couple of pints. Jobs are good. Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of see what time we kick off because we're the last game as well, aren't we?
Yeah. You'd assume the Saturday usually kicks off later, doesn't it? Than
Yeah,
they usually finish earlier on the Sunday. I would assume you're looking at 2 o'clock first game, 4:30, and 7 o'clock,
yeah, that sounds about right.
just to stop you getting home on the train.
Yes, yeah,
That's a
meaning that
good.
I've had,
To be fair, do you know what? They're actually a really good set of fixtures. Lee versus Catalan, Hull
yeah,
KR, Salford, and us versus Leeds. And then the Sunday, well, there's Wigan Warrington, which is a decent one. Huddersfield, Hull, you can not bother with. And then I'm glad they put Cass and Wakey last so everybody can be already halfway home before the game kicks off.
that one could be. That's going to be an intriguing one though. With Wakefield coming back up, they're going to want to put one over on Cass, especially at Magic Weekend. But yeah, that Saturday is it sounds like a proper good day of rugby. That good one for Saints fans to get over to, and then you've not got the absolute ball ache of trying to get back on a Sunday afternoon and straight into work on the Monday.
I wonder if Everton kicked off at 12:30 and finished at quarter
Bank
past
holiday.
two. and Saints kicked off at 7, whether I
Could
could
you
do
make it?
Lime Street to Newcastle in time.
You're going to start looking at that, aren't you?
Yes. While we're talking,
Now's not, now's not the time. Now's not the time. Come on, let's get the other
right.
slides on.
Talk about Shona Hoyle, please, Kevin.
Yeah, a return for Shauna. It's strikes me as a good sign in this. I mean, we have got other slides that we're going to talk about players as well, aren't we? Rather
I'll
than
just
look
bang
at
them all
team
together.
times.
Shona Hoyle, back. Amy Hardcastle, back. Caitlin Casey, deserting a amateur club. Well, pretty much.
You're back. You're back. Yeah. All right. But
Leeds are falling apart again. Do you know what?
taking
The men's team have been terrible for years. They were pinning all the hopes on the women's team. Now they're all deserting the sinking ship. Saints just need to launch a wheelchair rugby team, and we'll have half of them as well.
uh, fair enough. Yeah, I think these strike me as three good signings. To be fair, I mean, we all know how good Amy Hardcastle is. We all know how good Shauna Hoyle was for us, and Caitlin Casey coming in halfback, young, promising halfback as well. It looks like we've got out, brought some experience in, but also a good rudder there. He'll probably work well alongside Zoe Harris in the halves. So as you say, it just looks really good for Saints. Looks good for the women's team.
Yeah, and obviously Deck Hardman. They've played under him before, as well as Craig
Yeah.
Richards, and it sounds like the more of a draw than the fella who went to Wigan. Anyway, right.
Yeah.
If Everton kicked off at 12:30 and finished at 2:15, I could get to Lime Street Station and get the 2:54 train and be in Newcastle for 6:10. 10-minute
Okay.
walk to the ground, be there for 7 o'clock kickoff. How desperate am I to get to Newcastle to watch a one-sided game? That is the question. Oh, that's the end of the
Well,
slideshow.
well, that's up to you. You'll have to see what happens, but I'll make my own arrangements for getting up there. I think.
The worst part would be if I got like 2 hours into the train journey and there was like an accident or something, and I was stuck an hour outside Newcastle and got there like 8:30. The only way I'm
Yeah,
doing
just in
that,
time.
the only way I'm doing that is if we stayed over and got on the ale afterwards.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
to be
we'll.
fair, we'd have to because I wouldn't have a way of getting home. I'm not coming back on the coach
No,
straight away. Not a chance. I'll be sick. Literally.
well, yeah. You don't do
Don't do
coaches
coaches.
anyway, do you?
No.
You're precious, precious boy, aren't you, David? Precious boy.
Redvee therapy session is closed.
You've swung from high to deep, you today, David. You've gone from ranting about not being able to buy what you want to taking the mick out of Leeds. It's good to see you back on form.
But do you know what? The thing that annoys me is 95% of the time we are really like balanced, try and see the positive in things, try and be down the line. The minute that we give any
A
negative,
voice of reason. Yeah,
the minute that
a
we're
voice of
the minute that we are the critical friend and a negative, we're like the worst people ever. And you know I can whinge more than this, Kevin. This is very
yeah.
the
I've driven to
funnel.
London and Newcastle, and I've travelled to Catalan with you. So yes, I do.
This whinging is very much filtered.
Yes,
Maybe we should
yeah.
just maybe we should do a year of Redvee unfiltered.
Why not?
Put it out after the watershed.
I was going to say yeah, just up, but it's like that's where you do your premium content.
Yeah.
Only whinging fans.
The year we do the unfiltered is probably our last.
Yes, yeah, that's when we're wrapping it up when every single one is just picking at everything.
Yeah. And do you know what? It's one of those you never hear the praise, but you always hear the criticism. It's like us.
Yeah,
When when John 8968424567 says in our comments that we're fat, I don't look in a mirror for a week. It hurts. It really hurts, doesn't it, Kevin? You know, when we get a negative comment, it proper gets to you.
yeah, for a little bit.
Think before
Somebody
you
called.
type. Think before you type. You give a man a complex.
Somebody called me. If somebody called me fat, I just nod.
Well, fair enough. Right, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you very soon for another whinging episode of Redvee TV.